This video examines crowd characteristics and crowd management through two major public events in Malaysia. The first one is Absolut Bazaar Raya and the second one is Pesta Buku Antarabangsa Kuala Lumpur PBAKL. These events were selected because they attract large crowds with different purposes, behaviors and expectations, making them useful for comparing crowd dynamics in different event settings. Absolut Bazaar Raya is a large-scale festival bazaar held during the Hari Raya season in Kuala Lumpur. It attracts thousands of visitors daily, mainly young, adults and families. They come to shop for festive clothing, food and lifestyle products. The crowd is usually energetic and fast-moving, especially during peak hours, resulting in high crowd density. Therefore, clear layout, effective crowd flow, and visible signage are important to ensure safety and smooth movement. Pesta Buku Antarabangsa Kuala Lumpur PBAKL is an international book exhibition held annually at the World Trade Center Kuala Lumpur. It attracts a diverse crowd including students, educators, families and book lovers. The crowd behavior is generally more organized and slower paced, as visitors often have specific goals such as buying books or attending talks. Visitors expect clear signage, spacious layout, and adequate facilities to support a comfortable event experience.
Hi, I'm here to discuss critical crowd management challenges at two major Malaysian events, which is Absolut Bazaar Raya and Pesta Buku Antarabangsa Kuala Lumpur, or we call as PBAKL. First, overcrowding. At Absolut Bazaar Raya, the festival Hari Raya season combined with free public access create massive crowd, especially during peak evening and the day before Raya. Vendor stores are packed tightly with minimal space between them, trapping huge numbers of people. This blocks movement, forces constant physical contact, and discomfort, stress, accident, and worst of all, the risk of crowded crashes. Imagine families squeezed together, unable to step aside. PBAKL faced similar issue in its sought-after zone. Popular publishers stand, book sale, and celebrity outdoor event draw unexpected surge despite the large exhibition tents. This hotspot lead to long queues and severely limited movement. Next, crowd flow and layout problems. Absolut Bazaar's temporary stall setup generate narrow, irregular alleys that simply cannot handle heavy pedestrian traffic. Tourists often pause to window shop, wait in line or talk with seller, causing abrupt stop and starts. Ineffective people flow potentially stampers and chaos throughout the bazaar. At PBAKL, even in a former indoor facility, poor queue management fails the crowds. Popular both overflow, blocking walkways and creating confusion for visitors trying to navigate the halls. People end up loose or fast bumping into each other constantly. And third, moving to entry and exit point. Absolut Bazaar Raya has restricted access points that are poorly controlled, making it impossible to manage visitor numbers during peaks. This causes severe congestion right at the gate. In an emergency, insufficient exit could delay evacuation, leading straight to panic. And PBAKL also has several entrances and exits, yet permit ones like escalator, lift, and main door always congested. Peak hour crowd reduce flow dramatically, posing real safety risks, especially for vulnerable groups like elderly visitors and children who get. And the last one is emergency response. At Absolut Bazaar Raya, large open-air crowd without barriers or enough security make it incredibly hard to respond quickly. Congested corridor block access to people need medical care or situation like lost children as mass of people pile up. PBAKL's venue has good safety facility but high visitor numbers across multiple halls overwhelm them. During evacuation, block or narrow path prevent organizing moving, easily sparking widespread panic. Conclusion, both events suffer from overcrowding, flawed layout, poor access control and emergency vulnerables, issue that could be mitigated with better planning like wider access list, time entry, barriers and train staff safer. Event mean happier visitor and fewer risks. Thanks you for.
Okay, my turn. I will talk about crowd management strategies. The first one is Absolut Raya, Bazaar Raya. First one is zoning and one-way flow. Divide the venue into zones such as food, fashion, payment and resting areas. Implementing one-way pedestrian flow to reduce congestion and collision. The second one is capacity control. Separate entry and exit point. Limit the number of visitors allowed at one time. The third one, peak hour management. Deploy additional security personnel and crowd marshal during peak hour. The second one is Kuala Lumpur International Book Fair. The first one, thematic house zoning. Organized both by categories. The second one is schedule high attraction activities. Scheduling book launches, talk and autograph session at different time. The third one, queue management system. Use number ticketing or digital queue system for popularization.
Hi, now we will be comparing the crowd management strategies used in two major public events in Malaysia, which is Absolut Bazaar Raya and Pesta Buku Antarabangsa Kuala Lumpur, also known as PBAKL. Absolut Bazaar Raya is held during the Hari Raya festive season and attracts thousands of visitors daily, especially young adults and families. The crowd is usually energetic, fast-moving, and emotionally driven due to the festive excitement and last-minute shopping. On the other hand, PBAKL is an annual international book exhibition held at the World Trade Center Kuala Lumpur. The visitors include students, educators, families, and book lovers. The crowd behavior here is generally calmer, more organized, and goal-oriented, as visitors usually come with specific purpose such as buying books or attending the talks. These two events were chosen by the attract large crowds but with different purpose, environments, and crowd behavior. Through this comparison, we aim to understand how different crowd management strategies are applied and what lesson can be learned from each event. The purpose of this comparison is to examine how crowd management strategies are implemented at both events, to identify similarities and differences in the challenge faced, and to highlight important lessons that can be learned to improve future event planning and safety. First comparison that we analyze is similarity. One major similarity between both events is overcrowding, especially during peak periods. At Absolut Bazaar Raya, overcrowding occurred due to free entry, festive demand, and limited space between stalls. During evenings and day nearing Hari Raya, crowd density becomes extremely high and making movement uncomfortable and increasing safety risks. Similarly, at PBAKL, overcrowding happens at specific high-demand zones such as popular publisher booth, book discounts areas, and celebrity outdoor session. Although the venue is large, crowd concentration in certain areas causes long queue and limited movement. This shows that even large venues can face overcrowding if visitors' flow is not evenly distributed. Another challenge is disrupted crowd flow. At Absolut Bazaar Raya, narrow and irregular ice lists make it difficult for visitors to move smoothly. People often stop suddenly to browse, queue, or socialize with vendors, causing congestion and abrupt movement. At PBAKL, the issue is mainly caused by pure queue management. Long queue at popular booths often block walkway, make it confusing for visitors who are trying to move between exhibition halls. In both cases, ineffective crowd flow management increases the discomfort and raises the risk of accidents. Both events also face challenges in entry and exit management, which directly affect emergency response. At Absolut Bazaar Raya, there are limited entry and exit points, and they are poorly controlled. This leads to congestion during peak hours. In emergency situation, evacuation may be delayed due to insufficient exits and high crowd density. For PBAKL, Although multiple entrances and exits are provided, congestion is still occur at main access points such as escalator, lift, and primary doors. This poses safety risks, especially for elderly visitors and children. In terms of emergency response, both events struggle to reach individuals quickly due to crowded walkway and blocked path. This slide shows the key differences in crowd management strategies between Absolut Bazaar Raya and Pesta Buku Antarabangsa Kuala Lumpur, based in three main aspects. First, in terms of the event environment and layout. Absolut Bazaar Raya management here relies mostly on informal spectator control, with narrow and irregular ice lists between stalls and limited use of physical barriers. Because of the layout is less structured, crowd movement becomes unpredictable, especially during peak festive hours. In contrast, Pesta Buku Antarabangsa Kuala Lumpur is held in a formal indoor venue at the World Trade Center Kuala Lumpur. The event benefits from fixed infrastructure such as hall, escalators, lift, and clearly designated entrance and exits. As a result, crowd movement is generally more organized, although congestion still occurs in high-demand zones. There are several important lessons that we can learn from both events. From Absolut Bazaar Raya, clear and wider alley layout are essential to support high crowd density. Second, controlling the number of visitors entering at one time can significantly reduce overcrowding. Lastly, visible security personnel and emergency teams are crucial to ensure quick response in crowded, open-air setting. These measures will help improve safety and overall visitors' experience. From PBAKL, we learned that having a large and well-designed venue alone is not enough. Active queue management is necessary, especially at high-demand booths. Temporary barriers and crowd marshals can help prevent queue from blocking walkways. In addition, emergency evacuation planning should consider crowd concentration across different halls, not just total attendance numbers. In conclusion, both events face similar crowd management challenges, such as overcrowding, poor crowd flow, and emergency response difficulties. However, Absolut Bazaar Raya requires strong structural planning and entry control, while PPAKL needs better operational control, particularly in managing queues and popular zones. Overall, effective crowd management depends not only on crowd size but also on layout planning, visitors' behavior, and proactive monitoring of crowd movement.
For Absolut Bazaar Raya, several improvements can be introduced to better manage overcrowding and improve overall safety. One key improvement is redesigning the stall layout with wider and more organized walkways. This allows visitors to move more smoothly and reduce congestions, especially during peak hours such as evening and weekends. Implementing a one-way pedestrian flow system can further minimize crowd clashes, sudden stopping, and physical contact among visitors. In addition, entry and exit management should be strengthened. Separate and clearly marked entry and exit points can help regulate the number of visitors inside the venue at one time. Capacity control during peak period is important to prevent overcrowding. The deployment of trained crowd marshals and security personnel at high-risk areas, such as entrances, narrow walkways, can help monitor crowd behavior. Clear emergency signage are also essential to ensure quick and organized response during emergencies such as medical incidents or lost children. For Pesta Buku Antarabangsa Kuala Lumpur, crowd management improvement should focus on controlling congestions at popular booths and high-demand activities. Structured queue management system using physical barriers, floor marking, or digital ticketing can prevent long queues from blocking walkways and causing confusions. This ensures better movement flow within the exhibition halls. Furthermore, better scheduling and space distributions can help reduce crowd concentrations. Author talks, book launches, and autograph sessions should be scheduled at different times and locations to avoid overcrowding in single area. Clear directional signage, hall maps, and information boards placed near entrance, escalators, and lift will help visitors navigate the venue efficiently. Improving the feasibility of emergency exit routes also support safer and more organized during emergency situations. In conclusion, crowd management plays a vital role in safety and effective risk control during events. Each type of event presents unique challenges, which mean that different crowd management strategies must be carefully planned and applied. When crowd control is poorly managed, it can lead to congestions, confusions, and increased safety risks for visitors. On the other hand, effective planning allows for smoother movement, better organizations, and improved comfort for attendees. Ultimately, good crowd management not only enhances the overall event experience, but also contributes to the long-term success and sustainability of events. Thank you. That's all from our group.